Welcome.
Whoa.
Yeah, I love it. Brian's hands to Blockchain Basement. Last episode of the year, last stream of the year, December 30th, 2022. We're eating our lunch. I probably have food on my face right now. I'm slamming a pub sub right before we went live. Manawak, I see you in the chat. Riddled with Puns, I see you in the chat. You'd be Riddled with Puns saying you'd be a cooler dad if you had told him to buy ETH. Yeah, great advice from Riddled with Puns. Always tell your friends to buy Ethereum. Kids, parents, children, always. Chemistry bro, unfortunately, no, it wasn't you. It was Big Hand Stan. Somebody in the chat earlier said, is BJ going to be here today? We have everybody's favorite neighbor, Drew, on the board today. BJ is at home. So, sup, IB Mike King. Hey, Mike King in the chat. Welcome in. So, yeah, pub sub for the win. It's going to be a little bit of a chill stream today. It's the last stream of the year. It's getting a little nostalgic thinking about it today. Wanted to shout out... I want to say did we start streaming on the basement when we moved to this building? Is that when we did it, or did we do it in the other building? We did it in the old building, didn't we?
Streaming on the basement?
I think it was
streaming
to Twitch.
The basement chat. Like, for those of you who don't know, the way this show started was we used to, and I want to say, he's not in here right now. I want to say it was T Salty. If you guys help me remember, it might have been Riddled with Puns who actually coined the basement, is what we named the Twitch chat on the morning show. At some point, we named it the basement chat. And so we'd always be talking about the basement chat. And it started, there was probably, 10 or 12 people in there with me. And so that's why I got real connected. I would always see their chats. And then it grew to maybe 30 or 40 for a long time. And I don't know how many we have in here right now, but I was just noticing yesterday we had like 120 people in here, which is really cool. Watching this thing grow from 10 people to 30 or 40 to 120 now. I think the goal, next year, let's set a goal of double. Let's try to get 300 concurrent viewers in here by the end of next year. I think that's a great goal. Yeah, we were looking at, I think we added something like 4,000 followers this year, several subs and, likes and all that kind of stuff. So just huge shout out. I want to just give a shout out for you guys because basement chat is always the best chat, always has been. We love hanging out with you guys and hearing what you guys have to add. Looking forward to next year and just, really appreciate everything you guys have done so far. Juggy, TTV, I was trying to remember the original 10. I know Juggy's not in here right now. A lot of them probably hate crypto now, but the true core, Riddle with Puns. I mean, Corey Harden was in there pretty early. I'm trying to think. Like I said, T Salty was in there. If you guys think you were in that first 10, let me know. Drop your name in the chat. If you think you're in the first 40, let me know. Then if you guys will forever be immortalized as being the first basement dwellers ever when we launched the show, officially launched it, took it from a chat to its own show. So big shout out to you guys. Not you, but you can pretend. A lot of smart people in the chat. Great learning opportunity. Absolutely agree. Oh, Crypto Tony. Yeah, you were definitely around. Chemistry Bro. You've been around from the beginning for sure of Blockchain Basement. I don't know when in the chat, but anyway, just wanted to say really grateful for you guys. Really excited for next year. We will. This will be the last live stream of 2022 for us. We'll be back on the 2nd. I know a lot of you guys will still be probably celebrating holidays and stuff, but we'll be back here on the 2nd. We'll try to do a special. I know Ben and I are going to do the morning stream that day. I was not first 40, joined Twitch so I can hang out with the cool people. Oh, nice. So not Yo Keys. You moved over when we started doing this other show, this Twitch exclusive show. And shout out to twitch.tv, our partner here. They great partner. This is a big reason we do this stuff. We love Twitch. We love gaming. We love content. We love crypto. And we love, like I said, sharing this time with you guys. And we've got some good stuff to talk about today. Well, should we do it at the beginning or the end? Grateful. I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, get ready. I'm going to start asking you what you're grateful for this year, your biggest wins and your biggest losses for the year. We're going to talk a little crypto, though, first, I guess. We'll do that more towards the middle. So this is a big news as of today. I haven't had a chance to dig into this too much lately, but just in, Biden signs $1.7 trillion Omnibus government spending bill. That's for next year. Looks like that's the spending budget that's set in place. I'm sure there's all sorts of interesting things in there. Do you have any takes on that, Drew?
Well, I mean, it's a budget for the government to operate in 2023.
Right.
We had some
fiscal year.
And the designing architects of the bill, Schumer, Pelosi, McConnell, hate them all personally. Inflation's still killing American incomes. And, a spending package like this is far from fixing that issue. Sadly, both Democrats and Republicans largely supported this. And you know, the one of the most enraging thing to me about it is that there's nothing in the bill about protecting our own border, but there is $45 billion cooked into it to protect a border for a country that isn't even part of NATO on the other side of the world. And yeah, we're basically paying that with our own dollars as we're dealing with insane amount of inflation. And, we've been in a recession for a while. So yeah, it's pretty aggravating to see this going down while everyone's asleep during the holidays.
It is, and that's generally when it happens. You see these big things get pushed through, and they'll say, "Oh, they got to get it in so they can continue to operate, so things don't shut down and all that sort of stuff." But I agree, it's inflation's still not solved yet, and we're printing. We're spending $1.7 trillion. Used to be billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. It feels like now everything is $1 trillion. Every single new bill or proposal or whatever seems to be trillions of dollars. Doesn't bode well for next year. I know Nick Demondi had. That's really
so
loud.
Sorry.
They were asking what's for lunch, by the way. It's pub subs for the win. Public subs. I got a few bites into mine. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it before the end of the show. That's a good looking sandwich right there for those of you at home. You got
Pub sub. I've never even heard of that. Is it around here?
What?
Publix. You know,
Publix.
a sub from Publix.
Oh.
It's fire, dude. You got to get on
It's so
that.
fire. Best subs ever.
I'll have to check it out.
But yeah, I agree. The $1 trillion in printing is, it just doesn't bode well going into everybody's talking about going into a recession next year anyway. We mentioned that a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
I think Nick had mentioned there's some forced savings accounts in there, like government savings accounts. Everybody gets a 401k in the future. Some of this stuff that's getting baked in. I haven't looked into this myself yet. I don't really know, so I will. I won't go into too many details until I.
Well, it gets worse.
Okay.
There's also the brace. They're coming after braces basically for short barrel rifles. They're trying to change some language up for the ATF, and I say we need to abolish the ATF first and foremost, and then we can start working on these economic situations.
Yeah, I didn't even know so that's another, we mentioned that before. That's another thing. I didn't even know what an omnibus bill was. It's basically just a bill that has so much stuff in it and it's so complicated.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be pretty much thought out and pre-designed, that there's not supposed to be a lot of debate. You're not supposed to question much. You're supposed to, once this is in, and once it makes it this far, it's supposed to just get pushed through. I mean, I couldn't believe. I'm going to look it up. I mean, I was like.
Check out my Twitter. It's basically so that Biden didn't even have to read it. And
right.
not like he would have anyways, but yeah, it's just more socially acceptable to sign off on something of that magnitude if it's got these prerequisites, but it's an absolute disaster for our economy.
Yeah, I mean, I just was like, how is this even a thing? Here's the definition right here. I said, I Google, what is an omnibus bill? And it says the purpose of an omnibus bill is a single document that is accepted in a single vote by a legislator, but packages together several measures into one or combines diverse subjects. Because of the large size and scope, omnibus bills limit opportunities for debate and scrutiny. So it's like, when I hear limits the opportunity for debate and scrutiny, that's where I'm like, okay, that's clearly something you're going to use to push something through that you don't want to have too much scrutiny or too much debate. You know, so I don't know. It's just cause for alarm, and it's par for the course. I would say it's definitely something that they have done in the past, so shouldn't be necessarily surprised for it or about it, but. Doesn't bode well for next year. I would say make smart, wise investment choices right now. And we're going to look at some stuff that's actually pretty encouraging for next year when it comes to Bitcoin cycles. The macroeconomic, not necessarily so encouraging for Bitcoin, but some of Bitcoin's metrics as far as timeline, something we talk about a lot here, the 4-year cycles. Yeah. Timing the crypto markets is one of the most important things you can do. Learning the 4-year cycle and learning how to, again, buy. I always say this backwards. Buy near bottoms and sell near tops is what you need to be doing. Not timing exact tops or exact bottoms. And we've shown it over and over that we are near bottoms right now. This is another thing that, again, doesn't look good for the global economy. We've got the Bank of Japan just set a new monthly record for bond purchases. They bought more than $12 billion in Japanese government bonds this month. We kind of talked about this, I think, a week or two ago, that some of this stuff was coming. We'd seen it, obviously, in the past. This were previous months that they've had huge spikes. So here is that's, again...
18 trillion.
18 trillion yen. Trillion, again, is just and when you start...
128 billion, it says. Not 12.
128 billion US dollars.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a problem because basically they're having to buy these bonds in an emergency manner so that they can continue to try to hoist their fiat currency at the value that they need it to be, which obviously is not a stable process. If you notice, that's a pretty big graph looking back to 2012 to now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and this is the key thing to your point. It's emergency, like it's unscheduled purchases, including 2 and 5 year bonds, which is again shorter term bonds. Japanese capital has propped up foreign debt and equity market for years. Ballpark figure: Japan has $3 trillion in foreign equity and $5 trillion in foreign debt instruments. But what if the capital goes back to Japan, enticed higher yields? So basically, I'll retweet this so you guys could read the whole kind of the whole thing later. But essentially, it's just not good. More bad news when it comes to Japan propping up their economy, looking for high risk investments. When the money printers are getting turned off. Yeah, TJ loves being near bottoms. Yeah, that was an easy one. By the way, Crimson Caravan Company, your dad joke was terrible. I'm sorry. I've heard that joke so many times.
What?
He did not today. He did it on this morning stream. The whole like talking muffin in the oven kind of thing. Like it's just I don't know. That's
what
it doesn't. It's not even. It's not
Don't be
a
a
good dad
hater.
joke should have some kind of wordplay, some kind of pun. It doesn't need to just be stupid. But I mean, it is a dad joke. It's standard. It's like there's 2 muffins in an oven or whatever. One looks over at the other, says it's getting hot in here. The other muffin replies, "Ha! A talking muffin." Like.
I think that's funny.
It's bad. It's just bad. I'm sorry.
I'm not
sorry.
drunk enough for this.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. These are the conversations at midnight tomorrow night. Is tomorrow the last day of the year? Yeah.
Ugh.
So,
You ruined
What?
the joke.
Yeah, you ruined it, TJ.
I ruined it.
Unbelievable.
Sorry. Well, when you're I'm good at ruining jokes. In case you guys haven't watched the morning live stream, I can really let a joke fall flat.
Yeah. But sometimes that's even funnier than the joke was
Yeah.
to begin with.
There you
true.
go. Only if you're big brain like
Yeah.
us, like me and Drew. So, thank you for doing your part. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and talk about before we get into housing slump and some Bitcoin stuff. Will Bitcoin dive to 8K or rebound to 22? I'm going to put you guys on the spot for a Q1 BTC prediction, which I think I did not too long ago, but I'm going to do it again with some new people. Biggest wins, biggest losses, 2022. Obviously, it's been a crazy year. We've seen price fall from roughly 60K all the way to 16K. We've seen some crazy moments. Actually, I've got an interesting... Yeah, we've seen... Let's see. What did we see this year? Some very interesting things happening in the markets. What did you learn? What was something that you wish you knew at the beginning of the year? Something maybe you wish you did different? Top wins, top losses for the year. I can start. I've learned a lot, and I think I've said. I need to go find the exact quote, but it's essentially, you need to move slowly when trying to grow your wealth and quickly when trying to preserve your wealth. And that's something I learned a lot in 2022. I think we were moving too quickly and taking too many shots on too many different things. Obviously, we learned a lot in that process, but we lost a lot along the way. And we didn't, I think a lot of people can relate to this, didn't move quickly enough to move things over into dollars, even when that's what we were talking about. Didn't take enough profits at the highest point. Had a plan and a strategy in place, but let the hype got focused, got too focused on 100K, 100%. We really wanted to hit that 100K number, and that's when I wanted to start taking profits. We hit 69, roughly 70, never actually got there. Got too focused on the number versus the timeline, which is something I'm not doing this time, which is why I'm in accumulation mode right now, because the timeline of the cycle says it's time to be in accumulation mode. Biggest wins, bear market activity. I'd say my biggest win was Allie. We've been dating and getting together. We got married in 2022, so that was a big thing. So bear market activities. I'd say get a girlfriend is definitely a high
Right.
recommended thing for you guys. You can focus on trading in the bull
girlfriend.
markets.
And
but
wife her
That's
up.
good advice for
Yeah,
a
and
lot
wife
of
her
people
up.
in the basement.
What'd you say?
So that's good advice for a lot of people in the
Yeah,
basement.
if you guys are
Yes.
still hanging out in the basement, your mom's basement or this basement with us, you're more than welcome. And you know what? Actually, believe it or not, a lot of the people in here, sorry, Taco, have girlfriends and wives and significant others, and we can teach you how. Not only can we teach you how to make money in crypto, we can teach you how to get a girlfriend too. So
Look, I tried to set up Taco, but TJ wouldn't let me.
Trying to stay available.
you're welcome, Taco.
Okay, I guess that was a blessing in disguise. I don't know. But I was gonna say I actually just downloaded the Tinder app after like 4 or 5 years.
Let's go.
So I'm gonna test
Taco
my luck.
time.
I'm gonna roll my dice.
Yeah,
you know?
hey, roll the dice. I like
Let's
it.
go.
So, hey, if you are looking for a broke NFT DGen in 2023, no, I'm just kidding.
There it is.
A future millionaire in 2024, here's your guy.
Hmm.
He is strong, good looking, knows crypto, knows Discord, knows NFTs, smart investor, saves his money. What else? Has a great job.
See? And fantastic sweatsuits.
And always swagged out.
Great relationship with his mom. That's always important.
Yep.
Good family,
Aw,
smart.
shucks, guys.
Wow,
You're so
wow.
nice.
I be Mike King. You've got it figured out. Step 1, make money in crypto. Step 2, find a spouse. So I'd say he's right on track. Yeah. So bull markets are for making gains. Bear markets are for making families, I guess. Moving your life forward, well, that's what they say you're supposed to do, right? Bear market activities, settle down, buy a house, put down some roots. Is this a dating show now? Yes. Yeah. Welcome to
So what
the
happens-
basement dating show.
What happens when you
was
go through a
spicy.
bull market after you're already in a relationship? Does that fail
Well,
at
you
that
gotta-
point?
you gotta
No,
be
it just
careful.
gets
They might sell the
better.
top.
No, yes, exactly.
Okay,
It
just
gives you
making
more
sure.
time. It gives you more time to pour into the relationship.
Don't teach him about selling the top if that's the situation right there. He might be.
tie the knot. We
yeah,
did tie the knot. Yeah, 12, 22, 22. Just recently. So
Nice.
we wanted some 2 numbers in there. So tax loss, harvest, and then reaccumulate. That's a good strategy. Okay, so Brian, biggest win, biggest loss, 2022. What did it look like?
So biggest loss got to be Celsius.
Good one.
Yeah, that should have been my biggest loss too.
Yeah.
I should have written that one down. Self-custody your assets.
Yeah, so I mean that was like a large percentage of my crypto, and because I didn't have like life-changing money, I kept most of my money in custodial services. So I guess like my lesson learned there is like no matter how much money you got, like store some of it away. Like even if you're comfortable losing it, if you're not going to trade it, if you're going to hold it long term, self-custody it.
Yeah.
So that's it. And then I guess just not taking profit on like my most profitable trades, or like not trades, but like long-term holds is a big one there too. Just like some like 100x, or like you got to just sell that thing.
Yeah.
Like even if you only sold half is like I think a mistake. Like looking back, like just if you 100x on something, like sell it.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's
Sell
great
it
advice.
all. So
Biggest win?
Biggest win. Let's see. I mean, for me, that's hard. But biggest win in crypto?
Just in general, biggest. Yeah, it could be. It
Well,
can be anything.
You picked a girl, so
Yeah, it can be whatever you want.
I mean, I guess biggest win really is just like, working with like awesome people and friends. I mean, that's like a big one for me. And then, okay, you can have it then. So that my other biggest win is like buying my first property.
Yay.
The Washington property,
big
right?
one.
That's an
Congrats.
Airbnb. That's
You
my
got
first win.
A sick investment property in Washington State.
Yeah.
That's what I figured was going to be your win too. Yeah.
Bam.
I took a huge bite, guys. That was a mistake.
You're gonna be chewing
Go,
for a
Drew,
good
go.
minute.
Oh God. Okay. Oh God. All right. So, I think that basically my biggest win. Gosh, I mean, I work here now. That's amazing.
My biggest win is that being all of you guys' answer. I love that.
but then I got a few acres of land with trees and chickens and everything I was always working towards and couldn't find a way to afford in Boulder, Colorado, because it's basically Silicon Valley in the middle of the mountains. So being able to get my hand on land was a huge deal. Selling my house and buying a new one before the feds did the rate hikes was another big win.
Oh yeah. You sold the
Rolling
top.
that money into my home and renovating the house to house that money for the future. Should I choose to sell it or rent it out in the future, I consider another big win. And I also feel like I learned a big lesson in the importance of having a plan with what I'm going to do with my assets. Because, we talk about selling tops and kind of timing the top all the time, but it really depends on what your plan is. My plan originally in 2021 was to sell the Bitcoin and the home together and then roll them together to purchase another home. But if I had done that at the time when Bitcoin had peaked, I actually would have lost out on another $100,000 in value gain on the home that I was planning to sell. So instead, I took well beyond what I originally put into cryptocurrency out, bought a vehicle and a couple other things with that money, pay myself back, and now it's all house money that's in that old bag. Sold the house, made more money than I would have if I sold the house and the Bitcoin at the top, and now I have the house, the new house, and the Bitcoin.
Crushing it.
Yeah, it's
2022, not a bad year for
yeah,
Drew.
I mean, and I have baby twins that are doing good. Yeah, I mean, like,
I didn't realize there were twins.
and paranoia pays, I learned, because I was worried about a cyber attack, so nothing was on exchanges or any of the stuff when all the collapses happened. I was off and in the woods for a different reason. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
You were prepped and ready.
Yeah, I was ready
Nice.
for it.
A
So.
prepper crypto. No, that's good. I wanted to read a couple from the chat real quick too. Let's see. Oh, also,
Me too, actually.
Ariel for Life said they got he or she, I don't know if that's a guy or a girl, says, I got a sister I can send down to you, Taco. Let's see. Somebody said LJ GG said my biggest win was not having any money on any of the failed exchanges. To Drew's point. Let's see. Where was he?
Do I sound like Obama?
Someone said, "What?"
Do I?
I don't know. I
tell me.
haven't heard it,
I
but you
thought
never
I was
know.
Buffalo Kill Bill or something. That guy with the lotion and stuff.
Let's see. He's free ranging.
If you talked with like
Oh,
a
shout out to
thumb
Stacy
like
in the
this,
chat. Stacy Lay.
that'd be like,
Yeah, it was in Squim. I remember you are from there, right? That's awesome.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was really weird.
What a small world.
Manowalk
small
said
world.
getting a chance to meet the BitBoy crew, watch the live stream, Basement Live in full circle, been in crypto since 2018. I saw somebody say experiencing going through my first bear market and experiencing. Oh gosh, Corey. Yeah, the plot thickens, doesn't it, Corey?
It's very thick in the basement these days.
Yeah. Let's see. Why does he sound like? All right, so perfect. I'm trying to get caught up with the chat. I was looking.
They're active. I love to
I
see
like
it. We're here during the holidays.
Crypto
People are paying
Thorn.
attention.
Crypto Thorn said he's grateful for his girlfriend.
Yeah. Somebody said I don't know how they put up with me. I didn't have to give up on crypto, and I need to not get attached to my bags and sell when in profits. Yeah, that's a good kind of, that's the same thing Brian was saying. Somebody said when we were talking about learn how to make money in crypto and then get a girlfriend, they said, what if you don't ever learn that make money part? And just hang out with us here in the basement. We'll share all of our mistakes, and so you just don't do what we do, and you'll do well. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
Stacey Lee's biggest wins this year. Got married and pregnant. Little girl due in May. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Wow,
Congrats.
congratulations. Doing
Yes.
May. Cool.
Man, children are a thing. That's like,
Razzmatazz, thruple income. Yeah, there's somebody else that are very, very glad to have raised 2 kids, have almost 2 adults. Got them almost out of the house, so congratulations there. But
That's
all
a
right,
big win.
is it Did I do Taco?
no, not
No.
yet.
All right, we got 2 left. Taco and
All
Ali.
right,
So go ahead, Taco.
My biggest win was in crypto. I was able to sell a big portion, probably like 75% of my crypto near the top of like the Bitcoin price. My biggest loss though is I used a lot of those profits and rolled them into NFTs that turned out to be rug pulls.
Bro.
So
Oh,
yeah, I mean, some of them turned out to be good investments. I was able to flip them. But yeah, just those NFTs that you do all your research, you look into the project, the team, what they're doing, what they're building, the community's strong, but one day they just don't show up to the Discord, and then that's the last time you ever hear from them.
It's wild. Yeah.
And then on Brian's point, his point was like, yeah, you got to sell 100x gain. My problem is I would never get to that point. I was always like, oh my God, this is too good to be true. I just made like 50, 60%. And then I would sell and then miss out on those 100x or 50x. So this time around, I'm dollar cost averaging through this bear market a lot more than normal. And I'm going to really kind of be aware of the possibility of these coins actually going up that much instead of just taking my money and being like, okay, I made some. Although that is a good strategy in crypto, especially, those opportunities are always out there.
No, keeping some moon bags, like that's what Wendy always calls. Like you take a bulk of your profit, you leave a little bit in there for when that 100x hits. That's a great strategy in crypto. A lot of babies in the chat. Corey
Yeah.
having another one.
Like a common theme.
Razmataz had a baby boy in November. So yeah, really excited for all that. Growing the family. I saw somebody else says my big hand. Manowalk said learning to time the markets instead of watch the number. Big hands, Dan. My biggest win is pulling my kids out of school, and now I'm the one brainwashing them to challenge everything. Congratulations
A bunch
there.
of baby crypto degens.
Yeah,
Let's go.
fellow homeschooler here. So yeah, homeschooling teaches you how to think for yourself, not just regurgitate information. Matrix, grateful for my girlfriend to still be alive, to be rebounding from huge losses last year. NFTs have been huge in that recovery for me personally. Awesome, good job, Matrix. So grateful that my daughter graduated high school after her grades dropped due to lockdowns, depression, and grades plummeting. Yeah, a lot of young kids, teenagers, and small kids had issues with the lockdowns and lack of social interaction. One of my biggest gains this is making it this far in the bear market, seeing how it is my first bear market Ariel for life. Yeah, guys, that's a big thing, and that's what part of what I want this to be. I think we've seen most of the price drop that we're going to see this next year or this past year. I think we're going to see most of the attention drop coming in 2023 if it holds like it did in 2019. So biggest price drop was 2018. Biggest attention drop, meaning you saw the most people leaving, was 2019 because it was so boring and the price never moved. So if that turns out to be true for next year, that's what we want this place to be, 2023, a place for you to hang out with people that aren't going to leave, because we're here in crypto. We're here to stay because we care about the whole future of humanity and what blockchain technology can do for us as humans and individuals. Yep. So biggest loss for me in my emotions, this is Yum Spectrum. Sold low, bought silver, got to learn in control and emotions, getting a bit better. Yeah, a lot of people struggle with the emotions attached to money. It's been a really hard year for me, to be honest. I'm grateful to be able to learn and grow every day, onward and upward. Yeah, sorry for that. No more chains. I know there's a lot of a lot of people that have had really tough years this year. I think a lot of learning that have gone through this year, a lot of painful losses, whether it be, portfolios or personal, so you never know what people are going through. And that's, like I said, that's why we want this to be a place where you can come hang out. Maybe we tease each other a little bit, but for the most part, we're pretty nice to each other.
I do want to give a shout out to No More Chains. He is a real OG in the Pluto Alliance community, helps with the Twitter, Discord. He's an all-star. So
Awesome.
shout out to No More Chains.
Shout out to No More Chains. Here's to a better 2023. So
Yeah, crush it 2023.
Allie. Biggest wins, biggest losses.
Well, TJ.
Clearly, I'm your biggest win.
He's my biggest win.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I said you, so I mean, it's only fair.
Biggest win in this room.
It's only fair.
Hey,
Starting it off.
Good
Congrats,
point, Drew.
TJ.
Good point, Drew. I'm everybody's biggest win.
Unbelievable.
That might be my biggest win. I don't know.
There you go.
Biggest loss. Yeah, I mean,
Or lesson. It can be anything, What have you learned this year?
oh my gosh, so much. I don't want to get too deep. But
Don't cry.
Biggest lesson. I like what No More Chain says. Like onward and upward, keep moving. Face yourself, face your problems, because that's the only way to work through them. Really, if you try to avoid them or point at other people, you're never really gonna get better. So that's kind of my big lesson.
That was a good Michael Jackson song, Once Upon a Time.
Razmatez says, I got a question. If BlackRock is so smart and so all powerful, what are they doing buying all those houses at the top? I got a little bit of an interesting take on that. I got a secret BlackRock story right here at the end. That's not all they were buying. And is it the forever top or is it the local top? That's always what you have to ask yourself. Is it going to be the top 20 years from now?
Right.
I don't think so.
Right.
But I'm they've been very sneakily becoming very big creditors for a lot of Bitcoin related things. I was a teaser for at the end. They're number one creditor for Core Scientific. Did you know that, Drew?
No way.
Yeah.
That's a mining
my
firm.
That's the mining company that's going bankrupt right now, and basically BlackRock's going to be in the first position to a lot of their assets.
Oh, wow.
Well,
along with Celsius, along with through FTX, Voyager, Celsius. Now, luckily, Binance is going to be stepping in and getting some of the Celsius or
Oh my God.
block, potentially Celsius and Voyager stuff, but the BlockFi stuff's still up for grabs. So BlackRock is playing the long game. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
They're playing with money. They don't care if they lose short term on paper money. What they're accumulating is real estate Bitcoin gold, you know?
Yep.
Maybe we should be doing the same thing. So
I like gold.
I
I'm
love
a big
gold.
fan
I'll
of
never
gold.
get tired of doing that. So
I know. Me too.
I bought into ApeCoin at $20. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Biggest loss was to a Dodge Demon. Oh, you got wrecked by a Dodge Demon. Sorry about that, Bloodlight. I guess you're a drag racer. Energy Web token. What do you guys think? Intriguing. Biggest win though is finally waking up to all the corruption in our fiat and government. Yum Spectrum. That's true. A lot of people
Yeah.
woke up between
Welcome.
2020, 2021, and 2022. Welcome to the land of not the sheep.
Come on in.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, somebody that was one of the chats I missed. Or somebody wanted to see a close up on your chain.
Oh,
I assume they were
This
talking about.
guy.
Yeah. What is that? Oh,
Yeah.
that. What is that? Yeah, I have
it's a
one of those.
tensor ring. It's just wrapped copper. And you know, my wife gave it to me. She's into that hippy dippy stuff. But
That hippie.
I love it. I
My
bought one
wife-
for me and TJ.
I was gonna say my wife gave me one of those too. She's into that hippy dippy stuff too.
I saw
so.
Drew's.
Yeah.
well, it
And-
stopped my mind. I moved under a transformer or like right near a transformer station in Colorado, and then I just immediately started having migraines and puking every night. I worked on computers anyways, so my wife bought me a bunch of these things, and I haven't had it ever since. So
Wow.
yeah, I basically can't
Interesting.
I can't do stuff without it. My head gets hurt from the. I
He
think it's
he just starts like radiating
Yeah. Yeah.
electricity.
Overload.
Oh, I-
Fanboy said biggest L buying a ETC miner one. He must mean an Ethereum miner 1 month before the merge because you could still mine Ethereum Classic.
Yeah.
Versus
Shadow Moses says, "What would you suggest for someone who is a complete beginner in trading crypto? Patience."
Check out Frankie Candles.
Yeah, well, I was gonna
Yeah.
say Frankie
Yeah.
Candles, BitLab Academy, both great resources.
Take
and
your
I
time though.
learn. Watch videos, educate yourself, learn, practice sandbox trade, maybe even like not sandbox the project, but you can trade with fake paper money, you know, in a lot of the exchanges, so you can kind of get the hang of it before you have real money on the line.
Yep.
But just fair warning here, you're gonna do great when it's fake money, and then you're gonna get wrecked as soon as you switch over to real money. That's always how it works. So just
Your emotions.
yeah,
Don't
your
give
emotions
up-
are a lot
yeah.
more involved. Yeah.
And don't give up too early. It takes time to really master something, right? You're not going to just get rich overnight. So, you know,
Yeah.
put the time and effort
That's big.
into anything and you'll be successful at it.
Too many people think it's like I can put 30 minutes a day into this or an hour a day and I'll be fine, and that, you know, it'll be a side hustle and I'll get rich this next year. It's like, no,
That's not the case.
it's going to take hours and
Yeah.
hours of education, and it needs to be your true side hustle, and you need to stick with it for a long time. Alex Smith from Indiana, he's a friend of ours. He started watching the channel a couple of years ago. We met him at a meetup. He's been practicing. He's been watching Frankie Candles. He takes notes. He journals every single day, and he would text me or reach out to me throughout time. He'd be like, "Hey, you know, I'm really crushing it now. I've been on a really good run. All these strategies are really starting to take hold." So yeah, I would say, and I'm going to try to make sure I start putting these links in the description. But BitLab Academy is a great place. Kelly's does a lot of really good trainers there. I mean, I know Taco's done some videos on NFT trading. Frank has done a lot of the educational stuff in there as well. So check out Frank. He's got his Discord. BitLab Academy also has a Discord where you get one-on-one training and all that kind of stuff. So make sure to go check that out. Link in the description below.
Bert Seamus, I would say yes, it's worth learning, because I was gonna say you lose a lot of sleep because everything good happens at night.
Yeah.
So
What it
I
feels
think
like.
it is. It seems like it.
Yeah, Crypto Thorn. My girlfriend's into that too. She charges her crystals at night. Yeah, it looks like we got a lot of hippie girlfriends in here. Which
It's the deal. These
And
days.
also,
you
Bert,
charge? You have crystals you charge up, Drew?
Well,
Tia?
Tia does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey, MM Crypto charges his crystals up. You know, like hey, I've seen a lot of. I mean, he does pretty well. So you know, don't knock it till you try it. I guess.
Yeah, she'll handle like, you know, charging up the crystals. I'll just make sure my gun lights are.
Frank is still on vacation. How would you say that? K6LZ world. I'm sure that's supposed to be a word that I'm not seeing right there, but no, he's
Kills?
actually flying back today. He'll be back to regularly scheduled program on, I believe, the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put in like 5 hours a day on education. Great job.
And learning about Bitcoin right now, I mean, like catching up to crypto. We got the book coming out.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I feel like, I mean, we do. I know that. I mean, I definitely see your point with the institutional regulatory clarity, like creating a really strong bull run, or the potential for it. But I also am wary of diminishing returns. So I would say get on it ASAP in the learning realm and understand this stuff so that you can be a part of this next cycle, because we do have the possibility to experience really heavily diminished returns on the obvious cryptocurrencies that a lot of new people will be looking at.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And Yum Spectrum asking if we think it's a good idea to use VPNs. Yes, always a great idea to use a VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network. It gives you a lot of privacy when you're browsing. It protects your data and your information. So yes, you should always be using that with all of your browsing. And to answer your question, it would give you more options and features if you were to do that. So,
except for Binance, they have like geolocation tracking, even if you use a VPN. But
Really?
Binance.com.
yeah, but they have Binance.us. It's not obviously the same, but
yeah, and if you want an exchange where you do also have to use a VPN, but it's no KYC and it's 100% self-custody, apex.exchange, I think it's a derivatives platform that I think is going to do extremely well in 2023 and beyond, because you don't have to trust the exchange. You have control of your funds at all times. And it's by the same people who do Bybit, so they know how to do good order books and liquidity and that sort of stuff.
I like Corey Hardin's comment. The most important thing I learned this year is that I'm not a trader. I learned that lesson
That's
also.
smart.
Yeah.
Because
everyone's not cut out for it.
I mean, I either get too emotional, I do the wrong thing, I add to a losing position, or it's just not for me. So I put it aside. I don't leverage trade anymore.
No.
Yeah, same, Corey.
I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Holding and just the power of, staying convicted and looking at the long term, man.
Saving and DCAing is a much more stable strategy.
But
I still leverage trade.
If I never sold any crypto that I bought back in like 2016 all the way until now, I'd probably be like a multimillionaire. So put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of coins, like I was saying earlier in the show, I'll sell it at like a 60% profit, and then it goes up to $5,000, and I bought it at $10 back in 2016. So, man, it's always if you buy into these coins that you believe in, the projects like ethereum, they're gonna do well in the future. You just have to be patient.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, we're going to talk a little crypto pricing right now. I haven't pulled up the chart in days because
it's looking grim.
It's still roughly 16 and change, and Bitcoin and Ethereum's roughly 1,200. It hasn't really changed, so I'm not going to hang on this too much. But I do want to talk Q1 2023. Are we going to? And this is the ultimate question. And what's fascinating to me is this is a pretty tight range that people are arguing about. We're sitting at 16 right now. We're talking about roughly 8K down.
50%.
Yeah, 50% in either direction, more or less. Yeah. 8K seems lower than even what a lot of people are talking about. You hear a lot of people saying 10 to 14K range. But that's a big debate. We're going to look at 3 different takes on whether we're going to dive to 8K or recover to 2020, but to above 20K or roughly 22 in Q1 2023. I could see a scenario for both. Like, they're both plausible. I would say I'm hoping to recover above the 20K level and kind of trade in that range for a while, but we'll see. So we'll skip down here. Crypto Tony short with daily range, low target. One market participant taking no chances on the last day of trading. And this is something to take into consideration. Today's the last day of trading for Wall Street for the year, traditional markets. I did mention, I believe on this show or the morning show a couple days ago, there is significant short, the advantages to the bears or to the short sellers. They're incentivized to hold the price under this 16.8, 16.5 level, at least through close today. We could see relief from that. Brian and I were talking about that right before the show started, whether we'd see it immediately after close or maybe tomorrow, after the close of midnight tonight, something like that. But he's having warned that a trip as low as 8K could be more imminent for Bitcoin on December 30th. A fresh chart showed just how weak the price action currently is. And again, we've seen today, like, the price isn't moving in dramatic ways. A failed breakout at the range high means that most likely target is now range closer to 15.5, according to this trader. I remain short, and I'm looking for push down into the range low as highlighted, which he's got 15.555. I don't know if we'll make it that low. That'd be obviously retesting, the all-time low for the cycle, breaking down below this, what has turned into a little bit of a level right here. Obviously, a lot of people are looking for us to get back above this level and hold. I wish Frank was here too. I love looking at those volume profiles.
Oh, I know. I think it's something that sticks out is how flatlined it was at the moment at the.
Oh my God!
Right in here,
before Christmas.
right there. Yeah. That was kind of creepy.
Well, we're going to look at some more graphs too that show exactly how flat it is. So cred, also about the range when it comes to how Bitcoin might behave in the future. He identified a monthly and weekly support at 14 and 12,000. Those are the ones Kelly and AJ have been really focused on.
Yep.
With that said, if we're not at these levels, what can we look for? If you don't want to get support, you could always show me a failed breakdown from support as a bullish argument. An area around 18 to 19,000 broken through thanks to the FTX in November could thus still become a target to reclaim, which I believe we got to get above 19, really above 20 in my opinion. There's a huge amount of support there. So they're looking on the more macro time frame. He's looking at this level to reclaim, right here, which is again getting us back above the FTX crash there.
Won't happen Q1.
You don't think we'll get above back in this range by Q, like 19-ish to 20-ish by Q1?
I would say like 100% no.
Okay, so you think we're staying
I think
12?
I'll tighten the range. I'll say we're staying between 12 and 18, and I'd say 14 is like a sure thing. 12 is a maybe. Below that is like, very questionable. And then it's because I think it's going to hit those levels. I don't think, imagine it going from 12K to 22. Like that's a massive move.
Yeah.
Even if it goes down to 14 to go to 22, that's an 8K move. That's like a 60-70% move up. I don't see that happening. So if you think it's going to go down any more at all from here, then you're crazy to think that it can go above 22.
Right. I agree. If you think it's, the only case is if you think it's going to hold here.
Yeah.
Like if you think it's going to go down because we've been stuck here for so long, if it breaks down, I think, correct chemistry bro saying support at that level, but the more times you test the level, the more likely it is to break. And so if it does break, it becomes that much harder to get back through because we tested it. If we break below this 16 and change level right now, and go to those 12,000 levels, breaking back through 14, breaking back through 16, breaking back through 16.8 will be ridiculously hard and probably will take a fair amount of time. I'm leaning towards, just looking at the volume, it just seems fairly exhausted. I don't know we're going to see it get pushed as low as 12K or 10K. I don't know if we'll get back below 15, that 15.5 level. Which is kind of more this guy's take here, Kaleo. I hope, because I haven't really read it yet. But in a prediction released on December 30th, Kaleo showed a bottom sequencing underway on BTC USD, with the next quarter supplying a clear upside price target. The area around 22,000 he suggested would act like a magnet for the price based on swing highs for the 8-hour chart, stretching back over several months. By contrast, lower lows did not feature in the outlook. So, again, this is a higher time frame. Let's see what he's looking at here.
I mean, I could see this as logical. If we're looking at 25 base point increases only, the market's going to think that's bullish at the beginning of next year. So
yeah, and I'm wondering what he's laying over this here. Is this a fractal from the 2019 market, or what? Or is this just his prediction here?
Probably just a prediction.
Some squiggly lines.
But it does. If you look at it, it does look kind of like if this is the 14K run up, but no, that doesn't make any sense. I'll have to see. So he's got this going all the way up to 22-ish by March. That seems very optimistic to me.
Yeah, and it's suspect that he had to put a magnet with some lightning bolts on there.
That makes it a better chart to me.
Big news. The magnet is big news.
Yeah.
Very suspect.
Well, I mean, what do you think, Taco? Where do you fall on some of this? I mean, you lean on the more bullish, or I mean, not a big swing between 22 and 16 or so, but where do you land?
I think we're just gonna range sideways in this range between like the low, what was it, 15.5, and that was up to 22K. I don't think, like Brian was saying, I don't think we're gonna get up there for a while. I think we're just gonna range sideways maybe for 4, 5, 6 months in this range between 15 and maybe 20K.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Let's see. Manuak says a lot of people will be buying in those ranges. A lot of the big money, the sailors, the Mark Cubans, and I agree. A lot of big money is trying to accumulate right now, which, again, that's always the kind of outlier there is, smaller markets are more susceptible. Oh, crap. I pushed the wrong buttons. More susceptible to manipulation. And when the volume's down and it's a small market, it can get pushed very quickly in one direction or another. So the people that have the ability to do that and have the ability to set up positions that will profit them, you're forgetting GBTC. They'll be probably trying to scoop. So this was another article, very similar. And part of what I wanted to highlight, this is TechCrunch. It's not a necessarily crypto publication, but this is this is the question on the general tech investor's mind at this point. Will Bitcoin and Ethereum price stagnate, sink, or rebound in 2023? I'm not that interested in the article. I don't even think we can read the whole thing because it's a subscription thing, but I liked these milestones that they had marked out for 2022. I just thought it was interesting to go back and look back. Some of these things people forget.
Wow.
ConocoPhillips announces Bitcoin mining project. Exxon announces Bitcoin mining project. MicroStrategy borrows $205 million from Silvergate to buy more BTC. So like these are the obvious. These are obviously the positive, bullish headlines. Macro, the green here, and then the red is negative. U.S. Department of Justice seizes 94,000 Bitcoin in the Bitfinex Act. We were talking about that this morning. I was like, that was the beginning of the end in a lot of ways. Yeah. Here's because this is kind of the last hurrah on price. But Luna Foundation buys U.S. $1.3 billion in Bitcoin right here. So this is when the Terra Luna thing was starting, and they were maybe pushing the price up there artificially. Terra Luna collapse. Here's Silvergate buying MicroStrategy buying the top. Terra Luna collapse right here. Obviously had a very quick impact sideways. Three Arrows Capital, Celsius collapse. These two being tied into here. Grayscale Bitcoin ETF rejected by SEC. That happens every year. Tesla selling 75% of its Bitcoin, so they definitely sold near bottom, not the bottom, but near bottom.
It was that when it was announced. I thought I remembered they announced that it was sold. They sold, but it was actually like up there.
Great point. Great point. You're right. When they sold, this is when the. Well, this is July. Yeah, that would have been when the quarterly reports came out, and they had to disclose that their sell happened, and it probably did happen somewhere in this range.
Either way,
actually at 40.
Is that 40?
I think it was 40.
Either way,
so like right here, right before the Terra Luna collapse, basically, if they sold at 40.
Smart.
And then another thing on this chart, the Luna Foundation, they bought that Bitcoin was, I think I remember they were gonna use it to keep the price of the USDT.
Yes, it was in their. It basically was in their reserve, their treasury. Part of what was backing USDT or UST was all the Bitcoin in this. And then they would say if the price starts falling, they use this Bitcoin to sell and buy. But then it became a race to the bottom. Coinbase and BlackRock deal and launch of Bitcoin private trust right here. Bitcoin startup Strike raises 80 million. That was pretty big. Cash App adds Lightning Network. Shell announces BTC mining project. So these were the big ones that I feel like kind of get lost in in all the noise this year. ConocoPhillips.
You notice the drops are getting smaller too. I mean, FTX was a big.
Well, that's what there's a few things you can notice here. ConocoPhillips, Exxon, and Shell, some of the biggest energy companies in the world, all have Bitcoin mining projects now. So what does that tell you? Like Bitcoin mining and energy are going to be linked.
Totally.
And to Brian's point, each collapse, boom, dramatic fall. And then here's FTX over here, arguably much greater impact than any of these things. And it had a much smaller impact, which is a big part of what made me feel like we've likely seen the bottom.
We might not have seen all of the cause and effect of that yet.
No.
But yeah, still much smaller.
Right. And I mean, I would argue the same for Terra and for Celsius as well. When they first happened, we didn't see the immediate cause and effect on all of it because it did slowly bleed into all this other stuff. But even as this other stuff unraveled, the impact was lower and lower. So I just thought, and that was just for Bitcoin. They do another one for Ethereum, which is pretty interesting.
Look at the executive order. It's right in between Conoco and Exxon.
Yeah.
The executive order. I keep bringing this up because everyone forgets.
So ConocoPhillips, Exxon right here in kind of February-ish and March-ish, right. And then we've got Biden's executive order coming right here at the beginning of March. And again, this is an executive order from the President of the United States to go hard on crypto, basically. Go hard on digital assets. We need to get this stuff figured out. And, and then look at what's happened this year. It's been one of the most wild, volatile years ever. Hawkish Fed minutes, Russia invades Ukraine, merge will miss June, soft target, Terra Luna collapse, beacon chain experience. Hey, we got a little bump there. We got a little rally on the beacon chain. 3 Arrows and Celsius. But this is what's interesting. Ethereum, obviously, post-merge had a little bit of a stronger recovery, which we all know when Bitcoin first bottomed, Ethereum was 900 and change, and after Bitcoin hit 15.5, it was only like around 1200 or 1160 ish. So Ethereum tends to be holding better since the merge. ETH becomes deflationary. Fidelity launches Ethereum index fund. I'm sure Nick would talk about somewhere in here where does it show JP Morgan investing in Consensus and starting to censor all the Ethereum transactions. Yada yada yada. But anyway, I just thought this was a pretty cool graph showing the whole breakdown of the year. So this is on TechCrunch. TJ, Ali, Taco, and Brian, market predictions for next year. Can you save for end of show? We're kind of already,
Maybe.
we're kind of doing
Save.
it. We're doing it right now. We're doing our market predictions.
We're doing
It is
Q1. We're
kind
doing
of the end of the
Q1.
show. Oh yeah, that's true. We are doing Q1.
Yeah.
Still mad I didn't sell more ETH on the merge pump. I was sitting on 45 and only sold like 10. Yeah.
At least it took some. Come on now.
Yeah. I can relate to some of that for sure.
The feels.
This is all right. So before we do last year predictions, this is actually something really important. I wanted you guys to see. One thing that I found was interesting when we were looking at a lot of those market graphs was they were looking at longer time frames, right? They were looking at weeklies, they were looking at monthlies. You're not looking at even the daily, the 4 hour. You're definitely not looking at the 1 hour or the 15-minute. They were looking at monthly candles, weekly candles. Now I'm going to go out even further, and we're going to look at annual candles because we're about to close the year end this year. We're about to get that, basically 2022's candle is about to close at the end of today, and it bodes very well for Bitcoin because generally speaking, you have 3 green years and one down year when you break it down to the cycle. So you've got 2010, 11, 12, 13, and then you've got basically this was the first bear market Bitcoin ever experienced. Then you've got this, is this 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 18 was a drawdown. So we went through 19, 20, 2021. And so this is where you guys can see, even though 2021 feels like the most euphoric and when you get the biggest run up, you really got a lot of it happened in 2020.
Yeah.
And so 2021 was that blow off top, which again, didn't really happen like these previous ones did. These had blow off tops, previous 2 cycles. You can see why this one felt a little bit different. And now here's 2022. And so, basically the next 3 years should be roughly bullish, which is why you see so many macro people switching to long-term bullish. I think the price a year from now is going to be even higher. This, so this is history in the making. This is BTC's annual chart, Satoshi Stacker. Definitely think you guys should follow this one. We pulled a lot of tweets from this. And I should start tweeting these from, by the way, Blockchain Basement. What is it? It's
B-Chain Basement.
B-Chain Basement on Twitter. If you guys want to follow all the stuff, we're going to start sharing all these links and tweeting out everything we cover on the show. So go check that out on Twitter if you want to keep up with the actual news that we share. But
Can I comment on that graph real quick?
do it.
I
just got rid of it, but I've got
okay.
another one that looks almost exactly the
All right,
same.
let's check it out. So this is what I think.
This is the same. These are the same things with these blue lines here are the halvings. Go ahead.
Right. Like, I see when we had that massive increase in value in Bitcoin in 2020, there was still a massive amount of fear being run from the mainstream media to keep, middle class and lower class people uninterested in the asset right on that 4 candle. And I was really aggravated at the time because I saw the price going up. I was holding. I was trying to talk to people that are around me about it to try to get them involved with it so that they could help themselves during the inflationary run up. And there was such a strong media push that people that are outside of the crypto space in general just wouldn't hear any of it. They were scared completely out of the market. And a lot of people that I was trying to shake loose and to wake up completely missed it because of the fear that was still being driven into what they call speculative asset class. But
Yeah, during a pandemic.
yeah, it was just chaos to me that I couldn't talk sense into the people, even though there was so much turmoil going on. So
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and you're always going to have narratives like that. I mean, I think this is the number one theory I've been hearing this cycle, Crypto Steve, and I don't disagree. You got to take this into consideration, but it's the same, kind of what you're saying. It's fear that's being pushed over and over. It's this is the first time in crypto's history going through the cycle, going through quantitative tightening. Things will be slightly different regarding timing of this bear into bull. Very bad macroeconomic conditions are on the horizon for early to mid next year, which I agree. Macroeconomically, things don't look great. And even though they didn't look great in the pandemic, they were still in a very fluid and very printing a lot of money, where, you know, quantitative easing versus tightening. Now the macroeconomics bad and we're tightening. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. It kind of feels better though. Like we know it's bad because we're tightening. As soon as we stop tightening, we're gonna feel that relief. Back in 2020, there was no guarantee any relief was coming, no matter how much we printed. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and watch. But this just gives me a lot of conviction really moving forward, when you can see very clearly, like 1, 2, 3, 4 having 1, 2, 3, 4 having 1, 2, probably gonna have a 3 right here, and then 4 is the up year. And Chemistry Bro made a good point. You do see deep wicks on years after, you know, you get that
cycle for sure.
Yeah, you're talking, what's this one here?
So the last one before that. So you see the red candle, number 2 and number 3, it continued to go down into that year.
Went way down.
It went way down and then still ended
and
green.
it recovered in the end, ended green. And that could be the scenario we're talking about for this third candle here. Like if the Bears win out in Q1 2023, we do say draw all the way down to that 8K we were just talking about. You could see something that looks kind of like this, where you get a deep candle and then we come up and recover back above. Say we go all the way down to 8K and come back and recover at 22 to 28 at the end of the year. You'd get something that looks kind of like this, where
That's what I think. I think 28.
Yeah, so if we closed at 28,000 next year, we would end up with another green annual candle, just a little bit above this, and then in number 4, obviously, is when it's game time. So those are when you want to, you know, that's why you keep hearing us talk about 24 and 25. You know, 24 and 25. That's when you're going to see your biggest return. You know, the year of the halving, those 4th years, is when it really kickstarts the next phase every single time. Next year it crashes or bad news, then 2024 we will have the halving in the presidential election, so 2024 will be fueled to win the election. Could be, you know, we see a lot of ties in election cycles when due to this. It is fascinating that, you know, Bitcoin was launched in an election cycle. It's on a 4-year cycle, roughly. You know, you could say 3 years, 10 months. So each time we go through this, we get a little bit further from the political cycle, which I think would have been an interesting theory if we could try to separate. If we're trying to separate money from politics, trying to get a halving cycle or a schedule that doesn't align with the election schedule, I think is a good strategy there. But
will we see it actually be talked about in this election cycle? I feel like it has been kind of quieted the last few times.
Yeah, I hope so. Do you have more stories? But I have a couple questions
go ahead.
in the chat.
Go ahead.
Crypto Thorn asks, do y'all think it's better to DCA into ETH or Bitcoin, being that ETH has seemed to hold stronger?
That is the ultimate question. I will say this. I've had a lot more success DCAing into ETH than into Bitcoin, because both times Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin in the bull run. And now previously Bitcoin had held better in the bear market. That has not proved true this bear market since the merge. So I lean very heavily on both is not a bad strategy, but if I'm telling my brother or somebody close to me that's trying to change their financial future, I tell them to buy Ethereum. Just my 2 cents.
Anybody else?
Oh, I mean, I'm very torn. I gotta say both. Like, I made really good money with Ethereum. I think that it's going to be really strong on the institutional side, but then I'm really bullish on Bitcoin and its place that it's going to find within our energy grid in the long-term future. And proof of work, I don't think is going to be anything that fully disappears by any stretch of the imagination. Honestly, within this century, I don't think that we're going to get away from it until after 2100. So I'll be long dead by then, but I would say diversify and have both, and then you know, you can experience, you know, both sets of gains. But yeah, I'm 60% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, so I split it up.
All right.
Next question, the real Crypto Stevo. Surprise new coin that will be in the top 20 total market cap next bull market. My bet is Arbitrum.
Is that a surprise new coin? Okay, that's not a bad pick.
It's not even a coin yet. So.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess that's a good pick. Yeah. Go ahead. Do you have one, Taco?
I'm gonna just say a really kind of random coin that I feel like is just gonna start creeping up slowly. Filecoin, decentralized storage. I feel like it's gonna be a big player in the future.
Winklevi twins big in that one too.
Really, never heard of it.
Because I have a NFT idea that would be kind of backed by a Filecoin. Your NFT is pretty much like your storage of data, and you can upload whatever you want, and it'd be like decentralized data storage that, you know, like if anything happens to your computer or whatever, it's already there. It's accessible, and then you can create versions of your NFT that I can send to Brian. He can view the data that I allow him to view, and it kind of be like your NFT. There's different tiers, small tier, small data, big tiers, a lot of data, and
Filecoin is definitely an interesting one to watch and keep your eye on. Definitely big money, a lot of big investors behind it. Some big VC people had a kind of a, I don't want to say a flop on, you know, like a lot of them, you know, a rough launch. You know, it's down a lot from where it launched at, but I think, you know, that's not a bad pick as a slow recovering. It, you know, is File and ICP similar-ish? I wouldn't say, I mean, I'm sure they would both say, no, they're nothing alike. They're completely different. But yes, they do a lot with storage and data. ICP works very differently than Filecoin does. Arweave, they're all in the same kind of family. Decentralized storage. There was Golem Network was around back in the day, trying to, you know, separate file storage, you know, in a decentralized way. It's basically what it does. It's an interesting one to keep an eye on. I'm going to give you a few I'm got in the back of my mind to keep an eye on. No guarantee. Top 20 is a big ask. I'll give you one of these three, either Aptos, Sui, which we talked about, or Sui. I think I've called it both, but and DeSo are three I've heard about, just rumored, whispered about, big money behind them. DeSo is a decentralized social media play, which I've seen a lot of those come and go and fail, so no guarantees there. But those are three I'm at least watching to keep an eye on. Not in 23 necessarily, but 2024 having good runs. Next bull run, yeah.
All right, one more. Bruh314 said, bruh, do you feel like any major regulation changes will be coming to crypto? And if so, do you think it will be bullish or bearish for crypto?
Yes and yes. Yes, major crypto regulations are coming. It will be bullish and bearish on crypto, just depending on how you view. Well, depending on how you view crypto. Yeah. There will be very bullish things for some projects' price, and there will be some bearish things for some of humanity. You know, and you know it's going to be up to you to decide what. But price wise, yeah, it's going to be good for some projects.
The Matrix 1986. Yes, please reach out to me on Twitter. That'd be great.
Awesome.
He has connections at Filecoin. It'd be interesting to see what's possible.
Cool. All right, couple more things before we close. I teased this at the beginning, so I did want to circle back on it. BlackRock among bankrupt miner Core Scientific's creditors. So we've talked about Core Scientific, one of the largest publicly traded Bitcoin mining operations. This is very interesting to me. BlackRock committed $17 million of Core Scientific's new $75 million loan from convertible note shares to shareholders. This investment firm had basically $38 million in secured convertible notes as of December 28th. So investment firm BlackRock is among the largest creditors of Bitcoin miner Core Scientific, which filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy last week. Its subsidiaries. So this is interesting. When it says I think it's assuming to BlackRock subsidiaries committed $17 million of the new $75 million loan the miner got from convertible note shareholders as part of its prearranged bankruptcy deal, according to the document filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on Thursday. BlackRock already owned $38 million in security convertible notes as of December 28th. The miner went public last year via a deal with Special Purposes Acquisition Company, with BlackRock serving as the anchor investor. Okay, so this is a company that one of the largest Bitcoin mining operations that went public last year, or within the past year, and is now going bankrupt, and where BlackRock is owed most of their assets at pennies on the dollar. And BlackRock was one of the biggest investors that helped them go public.
This is a game that is as old as time itself.
And so part of what BlackRock does is they use their leverage and their power on board seats to get them favorable deals so that they can have forceful takeovers or aggressive takeovers of different companies that they can use to build an entire portfolio that they can use to advance this tactic. So this is something I've been very cognizant about this year, watching who has the most Bitcoin, in custody. We've got BlockFi. We've got people like Three Arrows Capital. We've got companies like Celsius. We've got exchanges like Voyager. We've got people like FTX. If you're trying to hold the most of one asset, it's much easier to take it from the other people that have the most than it is to go earn it all yourself. I'll come back to that Aptos thing. And so that's what's been so fascinating to me when I see time and time again, Fidelity, BlackRock, we've got Vanguard on all these balance sheets or on all these shareholder things that when these companies go belly up, who's getting the most? It's the creditors, and they're working this legal system in their favor. It's fascinating to me. We covered they were invested in Coinbase, they were invested in a MicroStrategy, they're invested in a lot of Bitcoin related companies, and now here they are being, you know, acquiring through bankruptcy a lot of assets of the #1 Bitcoin mining thing. It's just something else to keep in mind as we're going forward in the year. And then another one from Satoshi Flipper. Any last words for the last trading day of the year? Go around on this one real quick. Any last words for the community this year, Brian, for the basement? Anything they should take into next year? Brian?
What
you think?
I'm just kidding. No, I really don't have anything. Nothing that I've already said about the price action, really.
Taco, any final words?
If you haven't already tax lost harvest your crypto that you have gone down on, so you could sell it and then buy it right back, and then you can harvest those losses.
Yeah, there you go. And then where's the best place they can find information about that?
Coinledger.io, and you can get 10 or 15% off by using BitBoy, all capital.
Coinledger.io, use BitBoy and get a special deal. They will help you with a lot of tax prep stuff and help you figure out your final liability, your final tax liability. So, Ali, any final thoughts for the final trading day of the year?
I literally just bought Matic while we were live.
Hey, there you go.
Hey.
So buy the bottom.
Buy the dip.
Buy the dip. True. What should you leave the people with?
The best kind of defense is a good offense. If you don't move now, your kids might be stuck in a permanent renter's class. It's Bitcoin or bugs, baby.
There you go. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Stagnation, paralyzation, not a good way to live your life. Get out there and move, whether you're moving transactions, whether you're moving your body. Dollar cost average, stack sats, make progress next year, and next year with more than you had this year. Be great. The grateful attitude we started the show with is a great way to do it. That's what I would say. Slow and steady, progress, not perfection. Take one step at a time. Subscribe, follow, like this channel. Tell it about your friends. We're trying to get this to 300 concurrent viewers next year. We know we can do it. You guys are the best. Tell everybody about crypto. Help your friends buy crypto in the bear market so they'll love you in the bull market. Don't tell anybody what to do in the bull market because they'll hate you no matter what you tell them.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We love you guys. Happy 2022. We'll see you in
See you next
2023.
year.
See you on Monday.